So free agent center DeAndre Ayton, the decision is in. He is no longer unemployed. I know you're very concerned about this. If you did not hear by now, perhaps you tuned out. You were not listening. We have learned, though, it's been double and triple confirmed that DeAndre Ayton is taking his talent, if you want to call it that, to the Lakers. A 2-year deal to have heartache in the playoffs with the Lakers. The deal includes a player option, so it's really like a 1-year deal. But the deal between Portland and Ayton, they had a falling out, so he goes to L.A. Ayton, in between the buyout from the Trailblazers and the money, the new money the Lakers are going to pay him, he will earn $34 million to play pro bouncy ball and will likely miss half the games. And then when he plays, he'll be engaged about half the time of those games. So Ayton will turn 27 on July 23rd. So he's got 3 weeks to go here until he turns 27. And he averaged a pedestrian 14 points a game. Did have 10 rebounds a game, shot 56% for the Portland Trailblazers down the Oregon Trail last year. So let us discuss the question. DeAndre Ayton, he goes to the Lakers. What are the odds that he reinvents himself and turns out to be the player he's supposed to be and not the player that he has been? So I've got houseplants, middle school group chat, and T-shirt cannon. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make the Baba Ganoush. We're going to make the Baba Ganoush. So, the word reinvent, to use that word, that he's somehow going to reinvent himself, I'm going to go please on that idea. And I know because I live in Los Angeles. LA is a town that, when you think about the history of transforming underachieving 7-foot players into gladiators, they have a rich history of that, unless they don't. Right? Now, it is a land, if you want a kale smoothie, you can get that. If you want to hang out with social media influencers, they're all over the place. And suntan lotion here, there, and everywhere. You've got that. Listen, Ayton has played now with 2 different teams. He has not shown any of that so-called Mamba mentality. In fact, he's the antithesis of that. He is more likely, by the time he's done with the Lakers, more likely to have opened a juice bar in Van Nuys than he is to have made an all-star team as a Laker. And with the Suns, I mean, he was on a team that was in the finals. Remember they gagged against the Milwaukee Bucks in the finals a couple years back? You remember that. So he was with the Suns. It was a finals team. Granted, it was kind of a fluky finals run, but they were in the finals. And in the finals, I remember we did monologues about it, but DeAndre Ayton approached NBA Finals games like he was playing rec ball at the YMCA. It's like, la, 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 la. I said the Boys and Girls Club, the YMCA. So DeAndre, he plays in cruise control. At least that's how he has played. He has been dining on room service and sleeping through wake-up calls since he entered the NBA in the 2018 draft. And trust me, watching him play, and I'm not just being a shock jock. I don't think it's a shocking take. Like, I've literally seen houseplants that play with more perseverance and have more energy than DeAndre Ayton plays professional basketball. Yeah, there'll be a random night where he'll show up and he'll be engaged and all that. I don't doubt that's going to happen. Maybe he'll even stack a couple of good games together and play well for a week. But just don't count on it. All right, and what about the numbers? He averaged a double-double. What about the numbers? All right. Well, his nickname should be Stovetop because it's stat stuffing. Statistics that look nice to the uneducated fan, but they have little to no impact on winning games. That's DeAndre Ayton in a nutshell, period, stop. Now, one of the teams that supposedly contacted him and is Indiana. Now, Indiana needs a center because they lost their center to the Milwaukee Bucks, and the reason the Bucks got their center, Mr. Turner, is because the Milwaukee Bucks are going to eat $113 million. No barbecue sauce, no honey mustard, no dipping sauce. $113 million to pay Dame Lillard to go away. So now there's some new reporting out on that. I don't know if you saw this or not, and maybe not. But how do you process a story that's been leaked by the Bucks that one of the factors in buying out Damian Lillard is that they were upset that Dame Time was going to rehab or had been rehabbing his Achilles injury in Portland. They said it was not approved by the big shots there in Milwaukee. So how do you process that? So I love this because it happens 99.9% of the time. The classic sports breakup where both sides pretend that they get along with each other. They sing Kumbaya, right? They wish each other the best and all that stuff. The best means as good as all the rest. And at the same time, they are rushing to their phones to send text messages in to their friends, their useful idiots in the media, and they're leaking all the petty grievances that each side has here to the media, and it ends up being like a middle school group chat where they're just throwing all kinds of crap out there, right? All kinds of crap out there. Some of it's true, some of it's not. Like, the Bucks didn't just waive Damian Lillard. Like, on his way out, they leaked that they were upset with him because he wanted a rehab in Portland where his kids are. The horror of horrors. A 34-year-old father wants to be near his family while learning to walk again because his Achilles was shredded, like shredded chicken. And how dare him? And it's part of the story where if you follow the story, we've seen these kind of hostile sports breakups that have happened, these sports divorces. It's the part of the story where the Bucks want you to believe that they were the aggrieved party, that they were the ones that were the victim. Listen, it didn't work out. That Dame going back to Portland was some kind of betrayal, is what it's being tossed out as. I mean, that's the NBA. It's not a hostage negotiation. And for the Milwaukee Bucks, Damian Lillard was the big flex. You swung, you tried to hit a grand slam, and you popped up meekly to the catcher. That's what you did. It happens. And so now you lick your wounds, and you move on. Kind of like the team in New York. We pivot. Last word here. We go now to Gotham, Midtown Manhattan, where unless there's a last-minute snafu, we have a new coach for the fledgling NBA team in the Big Apple, Mike Brown. What can Brown do for you? Mike Brown named coach of the Knicks, although things still have to be worked out, the crossing of the T's, the dotting of the I's. But being reported, it's a done deal, barring some kind of last-minute snafu. Mike Brown going to be the coach of the Knickerbockers. Is this an upgrade or a downgrade? Upgrade or downgrade, Mike Brown coaching the Knicks. So this does not take a high basketball IQ. It does not. You do not have to be some kind of insider to know. Congratulations to the New York Knicks. They have just downgraded, right? They've downgraded from a nice bunker to a beach house, and a hurricane is coming to town. Right? Now, it looks nice, beach house, but wait till that storm arrives. Not so much. So let me get this straight. You gave Tom Thibodeau a pink slip, and this is your solution. This is your solution. Really? Like, you had no plan. The guy that helped drag the rotting carcass of the Knickerbockers out of the Dolan Dungeon, as they call it, in Midtown Manhattan and Madison Square Garden, into the Eastern Conference Finals. First time since AOL dial-up internet was still a thing. And you let that go for Mike bleeping Brown. Are you kidding me? Dum-da-dum-dum-dum. Yeah, Brown has been fired more than the T-shirt cannon at your local minor league ballpark. My God. Cleveland got rid of him twice. The Lakers had him for a cup of coffee. They dumped him after 1 year after 5 games. I think it was 5 games, if I remember. They got rid of him. Sacramento just had him. They made the playoffs, and they still dumped Mike Brown. This was mid-season after 31 games. So that's not a trend. Okay, that is what's called a pattern. And Tom Thibodeau, who was I guess an acquired taste to some. We like the way he coached from afar. We don't have any skin in the game, but his teams had grit. There was an edge to a Tom Thibodeau coach team. And when you juxtapose that style to Mike Brown. When people talk about Mike Brown, everyone says the same thing. Nice guy. Right? Nice guy. Boy, Mike Brown, nice guy. Everyone's talking about how players love Mike Brown. Man, they can't get enough of Mike Brown. He's great. So how did that work out for the Cavs? How did that work out for the Lakers? How did that work out for the Kings? So get to the point, please. So nobody is yapping about the X's and O's, the mad tactician that Mike Brown is. So Mike Brown is essentially the NBA's version of a substitute teacher in terms of coaching. All right, he's the guy that will show up. Everyone loves the sub because you know it's an easy day when the sub's there, right? Yeah, the sub brings some snacks, maybe some crackers or something like that, and you get to watch movies all day, and it's great. Until a key moment comes up, and you need to execute, and you haven't put the work in, and it's like a grenade. It just blows up in your hands, and it's a disaster. So that's where I am. But hey, listen, these are the Knicks. This is the real Knicks. They had a little taste of success with Tom Thibodeau, and now they kicked his ass to the curb, and now they brought in Mike Brown, who will be peaks and valleys, but many more valleys than peaks. These stumbling, bumbling Knickerbockers are back at it yet again.